Now, Ben in Southgate disagrees with me, and that's why he's up next. Go ahead, Ben.
How you doing, George?
I'm doing fine, thanks for calling.
Hi, Willie. What would you do if you were getting attacked by rockets in your city?
I wouldn't kill innocent people.
How do you...
I wouldn't... Ben, you asked me a question, I gave you my answer. I wouldn't kill innocent people. For two reasons, Ben. Both because I'd consider it immoral to kill innocent people, but also because I'd know that I was going to be in for much more than ineffectual rockets coming over a border. If I did, I'd know that I was going to make my situation worse. I'd know that I was going to make myself less safe. How's that?
Hamas you're talking about. They're terrorists.
Ben. There were 800 people wounded today, and at least 225 killed. The majority of those killed and wounded were women and children.
Right as well.
Ben, were women and children. Does that mean nothing to you?
No, not at all. It's terrible, yeah? It's terrible, but Hamas has to be stopped.
But how is that stopping Hamas killing women and children? How is that stopping them?
Hamas are hiding with the children.
But never mind that. Even if that was true, which is, of course, the defence of every Nazi village raiser throughout the Second World War. Every time one of the resistance attacked a Nazi patrol and they levelled the civilian population's houses and killed the civilians, they always said, well, they were hiding amongst the civilians. But leave that aside, Ben. Even if that is true, if you kill and wound hundreds of women and children, how does that make you safer, Ben?
Well, I can say to you, yeah, if Israel, they get rid of Hamas...
But how is that getting rid of Hamas? Tell me if you really believe, Ben. Let me calm down a minute, and I want to ask you this, and I want you to answer me honestly. Do you really think that this kind of thing is going to use your words, get rid of Hamas? Do you really think that, Ben?
Hamas, they're a terrorist organisation.
But Ben, don't just keep repeating that mantra. Do you really think that's going to get rid of them?
Why don't Hamas so much?
Ben, do you really think that's going to get rid of them?
No, so why don't you get...
No, I knew that you knew that the answer was no. So if the answer was no, why do and why support an action which you know is not going to get rid of Hamas, but you know has killed and maimed hundreds of women and children and made you less safe? Why do something that makes you less safe, Ben?
You have to, it's a very hard situation, yeah, but Israel's a tiny country, yeah? It's a tiny little Jewish country in the world, yeah? All they want to do is have peace, yeah? They can't have peace if Hezbollah and Hamas are always going to start bombing them, suicide bombing them. This is a big disease. We're going around the whole world. It's happened in America, it's happened in England, yeah? It's happened in other places. If these are terrorist people, they don't care about people, yeah? They don't care. They want to wipe Israel off the map, like Iran, like the Iranian president said, yeah? I'm telling you, Iran and Hamas, yeah, there's a connection, and you'll see it soon. One day you'll see that there's a connection, yeah? What do you say about, hello?
I'm listening to you, Ben. So is everyone. So is everyone else.
I'm very angry as well, I'm sorry, yeah?
Well, you're very angry, but you don't seem to be very sorry. And there's a difference between being angry and sorry. So I'm not going to try and pull your heartstrings any more than I tried with people who've come on the line with a similar attitude. I'm just asking you a practical question, Ben. You acknowledged, although you found it difficult to express the word, you acknowledged that this will not get rid of Hamas. I think you acknowledge in your heart that it will not make Israel safer. Indeed, let me predict something to you, Ben. Tomorrow, or the next day, or next week, there will be a terrible, terrible, bloody outrage in revenge for what happened today. And lots of Israeli women and children will suffer the same fate as the Palestinian women and children suffered today. Now, how can that be a good idea? Ben, how can that be a good idea?
And that's a fact.
Ben,
you know,
Ben, you've obviously been talking instead of listening. Did you hear what I said? And if you did, will you answer?
Yeah, no, I did hear you.
Well, answer me then.
All I'm saying is, yeah, they have to protect themselves.
But that isn't protecting yourself if it doesn't do what you claim you're trying to do. If it doesn't get rid of Hamas, and if it doesn't make you safer, In what way can it be described as protecting yourself?
It's just showing these terrorists, yeah, that they can't, you know.
But it wasn't terrorists that were killed and wounded. It was women and children who were killed and wounded,
And what do you
Ben.
think about the Hamas people hiding?
Ben, please listen to me. Killing women and children has been the stock response of Israeli governments to the Palestinians, not for a day or a week or a year or a decade, but decade after decade after decade. And it hasn't got rid of anybody. It's made every citizen of Israel less safe. So if you really are a friend of Israel, Ben, why don't you advise them to try something different?
Going like what? What do you do, Georgie?
Well, I'll tell you what. When there's a 6-month ceasefire, stop starving the people with whom you're in a ceasefire. When there's a peace process, don't make it an endless, never-ending peace process. Actually, make a peace. Israel conquered the West Bank and Gaza in 6 days. It could leave in 6 days. It promised to leave on the White House lawn in the Oslo Agreement 16 years ago. 16 years ago. And still hasn't done so. Ben, please, you're angry. Be calm and think.